Ladies and gentlemen, today we have something very exceptional to share with each and every one of you. Please help me welcome somebody who is an exceptional of a yoga and a wellness coach. And she is somebody who is a grand Reiki master, somebody who is an expert at okay, if you are there on that, just click on the link plus button and send me a request to join live. And she's somebody who is a master and an expert at EFT, NLP, and inner child healing. She is somebody who is also the co-author of the book I Can Coach Volume 2, where she has shared her story, which is please welcome Saatvika Mangharam, who will be sharing with you the art and science of not only yoga but wellness in a sense. So I would request Saatvika, if you're on, just say hi to the people. And
Hi everyone.
right, not only this, she is somebody who has always inspired people and is doing exceptional good work when it comes to the field of yoga and wellness. And Satvika, so I have some questions for you. I hope you don't mind answering a few questions for us.
Not at all.
Right? Yoga is somebody.
One thing I'm having, there's a lot of echo coming. Is that, are you getting that as well? I mean, like background sharp sound.
No, I am pretty clean from my side. From my side, is there anything?
Okay, I'm getting a lot of sharp sound. Can the audience just let me know if you get that too? Otherwise, we'll go ahead.
Audience, can you?
Is there any sound coming or can we go to guys? Okay, I think let's go ahead.
Okay. So we'll be talking about yoga, we'll be talking about wellness, we'll also be talking about Reiki. So, Sapika, how do you manage to bring all of this, such a plethora of a package with you, where you are also a EFT, NLP, inside leader? So, how do you manage that stuff? You could go to learn from how do you package all of this in one sound?
No, actually, it seems like there are very many things, but actually they are all very interconnected because all of them focus on mind, body, wellness, and healing. So all of these practices don't look at the mind and body as two separate things. They look at the mind and body as one integrated system and how each influences the other. So in reality, actually, they are all very interconnected and very complementary.
And we have all somewhere heard about yoga, and so I want to understand what all aspects does yoga specifically help in the aspect of healing when it comes to the healing as such? Is it only connected to the body or there is more to it?
There's far more to it actually, because yoga doesn't work only at the physical level. It works at the physical level for sure, but it works way deeper than that. It works on the mind, it works on the emotional well-being of a person, and it also works on the spiritual well-being of a person. So when we talk about healing, there is a great imbalance in the system because of probably some trauma or bottled up stress or bottled up emotions which haven't been processed, out of the system.
Yeah.
So that builds up over time, and if we don't address it day to day or regularly, eventually that can become severe issues and can even cause physical illness in the body. So, for that reason, we approach such practices. Now, for a practice like healing, yoga is very effective because it works at the level of your energy system and it also has a profound impact on your nervous system. Now, what happens? We have our nervous system is basically comprised of two parts: the sympathetic, which is our fight and flight, the outward action side of it, and the parasympathetic, which is the quietening, relaxing side of it.
Right.
When we are in a state of prolonged stress, which is one of the biggest problems of today, we all have some kind of stress in our life, whether it's work, whether it's in relationships, or whatever it is. When stress is not managed properly, what happens is that it puts the nervous system out of balance. So we get into a state of fight or flight, and we get stuck in that. We get into the sympathetic the sympathetic nervous system, and we get stuck in that space. So, a practice is required to rebalance the nervous system and to recalibrate the whole thing.
Right.
Yoga helps beautifully in that because it activates the other side of the nervous system. It activates the parasympathetic side, which helps us to relax, to quieten down, and to release that tension. So, right from there is how all the healing starts. And when there is deep trauma, there is also a lot of tension in the body, which is often unconscious because there is stuck energy and stuck emotion. Stuck emotion. So again, there is imbalance in the system, and all that gets healed through this practice.
Right. And very, very powerful. What you said is the way you bring in the interconnection and with all the different sciences that you have acquired. That's exceptional. My question is, I'm also intrigued into the world of like, what is Reiki and how does it really work? Because a lot of people don't really understand that thing in truth of its essence. So would you help us share this? Like, what actually is Reiki and how?
Yeah. So Reiki, sometimes people don't understand what it is because it is invisible to the eye.
Right.
But Reiki is energy healing. And as you all know, everybody has energy, right? We all have what is known as prana in our body, which keeps our body alive. And in yogic language, it is known as prana or pran. And in Reiki is a Japanese word for the same energy flow. It is a force of life. And here the approach is to channel this energy through the hands to revitalize the system. So in yoga, we generate the same energy through asana and pranayama practice. But in Reiki, it is channeled through the hands or channeled via symbols and certain practices to amplify and reboost your energy system. When we are sick, when we are not feeling very well, when we've gone through a severe, maybe difficult time, our energy drops. We become drained, we become weak. So we need that reboosting and re-amplification of energy to let us know, yeah, to give us back that, that recharged system back. So that is how Reiki helps. And sometimes when a person is extremely sick, they can't do it for themselves. Like you can't expect a person who is bedridden to go and do yoga practice. But you can get a Reiki practitioner to offer them healing so that their vitality comes back, even though they may not be able to move at the present moment. So it is an alternative way of channeling that energy back into a person's system, bringing life back into that system.
Right.
And it always heals. It can never harm because it is the force of life.
Right.
It is
Lovely.
always nurturing. It is always healing. And
Right. And what is channeling, or how would you say what exactly is EFT also, and would you shed a light on what exactly is inner child healing as well? Because a lot of people do
Yeah.
talk about it, but they don't understand the things in the truest of their essence. So would you be sharing your thoughts and how is EFT inner child also? What is it exactly?
Yeah, thank you for this question. So, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. Emotional freedom technique is another way of processing emotions because, again, emotions is nothing but energy. When a person has repressed anger or, again, some childhood trauma, there is just stuck energy in the body which can cause disease after a point or sickness. So, EFT, again, is a different approach to release this energy out of the body. Now, we all have energy channels flowing, like little channels of energy flowing through our system, which in yogic language is known as nadis, and in a different system it is known as meridians. But it's just the channels through which energy reaches every cell in our body. There are certain points in the body where these channels are closer to the surface, like in acupressure, acupuncture, they put those needles into those particular points. Here we use the same points, but we don't have any needles. It is very gentle. In fact, it is only using your fingertips to tap on those points to process that stuck energy out of your system, along with talk therapy. It looks like a very simple, basic level practice, but this practice actually gets to the root of a lot of issues and can give healing at the root level. What happens sometimes is healing is sometimes only at the shallow level, but then that does not remove the triggers. If you go right to the root, then the triggers are healed. So the person does not have that automatic response, especially a person who's suffering from trauma, won't have that automatic response every time that trigger comes up in front of them because the healing happens right at the root. And inner child healing is going back into your subconscious and facing your own self at different times in the past, right from the time of birth till 5 minutes ago, any time in the past, going back and healing those parts of yourself which felt disempowered, helpless, sad, abandoned, which felt like a shock happened which they were unprepared for, and going back and giving those energy imprints the safety, the healing, the acceptance, whatever it was that they needed but they didn't receive at that time, which created that block. So it is going back and into those energy imprints, because when that doesn't get processed, it leaves an imprint on our energy system. So we go back, heal those negative imprints so that we don't have the same negative responses to triggers coming up in our day-to-day life. For example, I'll give you a very small example. A person who has gone through domestic abuse in their childhood, if there is the slightest sign of anything going out of, they develop hypervigilance, anxiety as a self-protective mechanism, because the problem has not been healed at the root level. A small little trigger can create a very big anxiety for such a person, even if nothing is actually happening, because the root is not healed. So through these practices, we go into the subconscious energy, heal it at the subconscious energy level, and then those triggers don't have an impact anymore, which is disturbing to the system. And the best part about these practices is that they are very deep but also very gentle. So you can heal the worst of traumas, but at the same time, you can do it in a way that is really very powerful, but at the same time, very gentle and compassionate to your body and system. It doesn't feel like a forced thing.
Right. I really like the way you're putting and simplifying things, and you're describing and shedding light on every single aspect of it. One of my important questions that I really would want you to share, and what is your understanding of the same, would be when we, let us say, we have a trauma, there we heal at a particular point. Is it something that is healing a one-time process, or something that we have to repeat ongoingly, or is it a part of the journey? How do you see it?
That's again a great thing to shed some light on, because healing, there are different levels of healing. So sometimes we have to do very deep focused healing because we want to overcome a problem. For example, you want to lose 20 kilos, you're going to put full energy and hit the gym every day. Then once your weight comes back to a normal level, you will do maintenance fitness workout, which will keep you in the healthy state, but you won't be doing it with the same intensity of a person who has to lose 20 kilos in that much time. Similarly, with healing, it's the same thing. When you know there is a problem, for example, if somebody has gone through a divorce and they have to overcome trauma work, they have to go through that healing process to come back into a state of balance. At that time, they will focus on their healing with a little more attention, because they want to come back to a normal state so that they can operate normally in their lives. At that time, healing is a focused process for maybe 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, however long it takes for that person. After that, healing work continues lifelong, and that is how you can choose to do it how you want. Like, for example, meditation can be your healing practice, but some practice is required. Keep removing that negative stuff from your system regularly. That is not focused healing in that way. That is more of maintaining your well-being lifelong.
Right. I really like the way you give an example and simplified it for us, because sometimes we feel we have done the work, but it is again coming back. You feel a certain event and it is again coming back. What is that like? How do you do that kind of something? So is it like, do we assume that it's not fully healed, or is it not healed at a root level? So how do you see it?
Yeah. Superb question, Harmeet. Actually, healing happens in layers. It's not just that sometimes you do hit the root right in the first layer, but oftentimes we peel off layer after layer, session by session, until we reach the root. And it's like this. Imagine that there is a land which you want to clear, and there are some very deep-rooted trees, and there are some very lightweight plants. Now we want to clear all of that stuff out of our system. We want to clear the entire land. If we start with only the small plants, we'll be digging forever. But the moment you get those deep rooted trees out, it loosens up the soil. The small plants just automatically come out of the soil, very automatically, because the soil has been loosened up. It's the same with healing. You start by removing the deep blocks, and then all the smaller stuff that gets thrown out automatically, because the subconscious has been stirred up to toss it all out. So in healing, there are layer after layer, there's layer after layer which is peeled off. And when you clear the root completely, then you don't have any more response to the trigger. Even a person who has gone through the most horrible trauma experience, a time will come after complete healing where they will, even if they see that memory, they feel no more connection with it. It's like as if they're just watching it, but it's not a part of them anymore. It's like, okay, I don't even have a connect with this anymore. That is the sign that healing is complete. Or sometimes the healing is even more complete when they don't even have memory of it. It's just gone out of their mind. They can't even connect with that incident anymore. That is when it is complete. But if that memory comes up and you feel some charge emotionally, that means there is still something left to heal.
Right. I really like the way you're able to put it in an example and a metaphor, and the way you are able to really simplify that stuff. I really like that. That shows the kind of mastery, and that shows the kind of expertise that you bring to the table. I am all impressed. And one very important question that I would want to ask you is this: what happens to the energy system with all of these practices, that all of these things that we keep on doing? So what happens to the energy system? How does that, do you think that energy system also evolves over a period of time? How does it behave?
So our energy system is basically connected to our mind and it is connected to our physical body as well. In fact, it is the energy system that feeds the mind and it is the energy system that feeds the body. You eat food, food becomes energy, that energy nourishes your body. Similarly, the food you eat also affects the state of your mind. If you eat very spicy food, your mind becomes more agitated. If you eat simple food, your mind is calmer. There's a direct impact even at the mind level with the food and the energy you consume, the people you interact with. All of that is energy that you're putting into your system.
Right.
Now, when your energy is in balance, you feel a sense of calmness, you feel a sense of expansion, and you feel a sense of peace. When there are blocks, there are certain things which don't function at the optimum level. And this, we have energy centers in our body, which in yogic language is called chakras in Sanskrit. Or if you don't connect with that word, you can refer to them as energy centers. They are basically the meeting points of all the energy channels, and the principal ones are along the spine. Each of these have different issues associated with them. Now, if you have, for example, your throat chakra, for example, let's look at the case of a child when he was young or she was young. From childhood, this person was not allowed to express themselves. All the time, the person's parents probably said that, don't say this, don't say anything, keep quiet. And that person got conditioned to keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet, right into adulthood, and eventually developed a throat problem. Why? Because of lack of the ability to self-express. And that lack of self-expression, even when that person had to express, for example, he was hurting, but he could not express it, became an energy block and over time manifested into a physical issue, like maybe a problem in your throat or something like that, or around the throat in the jaw, and became a physical manifestation of it. So when we don't keep our energy clean day to day, over time, this is what happens. It becomes physical illness or physical disease. And at the mind level, it can also create total mental havoc, like, when severe anxiety kicks in or deep depression kicks in. All of that is all imbalance of energy system. So maintaining your energy system day to day is very important for anyone's well-being. Choose whatever practice you want to. You don't have to do only yoga, you don't have to do anything, but choose a practice that works on your mind and body together. This is very important because only doing physical is not enough and only doing mental also is not enough. You have to integrate both because they are connected, they are one, and your energy system feeds both. So that's what happens when your energy system comes into balance. You feel a sense of vitality, your positivity naturally increases, your resistance increases, you don't fall sick so easily, and there is a lot of internal balance and grounding from which very clear decisions come through. So those are signs of energy balance internally.
Lovely. I'm just so enjoying the conversation with you. It's just like I feel like you're asking a lot more questions. In the interest of time, I might have to. I have a very important question though, which I still want to ask you. I'm very sure when you were getting trained in all those modalities and you were picking up all the skills from all that stuff, right? You would have come across your own teacher. mentors. What is one piece of advice that really changed your life that you take to the next level? What would you share? What do you share with your audience? What is the best piece of advice ever received in life?
Yes, thank you. So, this I would say is don't look at your mind and body and emotions and all of this as separate things. Look at it as one integrated thing. If you have a problem in your leg, don't look at it as something that you have to fix only in your leg. If you have a problem in your head, don't just look at it as a problem only in the head because there is much more to it. Sometimes when we channel Reiki, I have channeled Reiki to people for a headache and the energy has gone to their shoulder and they have felt it because there was an emotional block in the shoulder which was finally manifesting as a headache. So, because our body and network is so interconnected internally, look at it as one whole and don't try to do spot fixing. So, if you have a physical health issue and you're just trying to, like people say, okay, can you give me an asana for this problem? And I say, I can't really do that because it doesn't work like that. We can't do spot fixing.
Yeah.
There may be some asanas that focus a little more on that. But if you really want the results, do the whole thing and do it with sincerity, commit to it and just surrender to it. And when you do it in that way, because it's so interconnected, whatever blocks are there will open out and you will regain your health just by doing the complete regular practice. So forget about spot fixing. Don't try to only solve one issue. Just focus on overall well being and commit to the entire practice. Look at your entire system as one integration rather than separate parts.
Lovely.
So that is what I would suggest. Yeah.
I do like the way you put it together, and I would really want to thank you for coming here and sharing your wisdom with us, your nuggets with us, and the way you simplify things, the way you bring into clarity for us. It is amazing. I am just so loving this conversation that this is of immense value for anybody who understands healing at a very deep level. So thank you for doing what you do. I have a very, very special thing that I really want to share with all the audience. And anyone who has listened to this conversation fully, you will exactly know the kind of maturity and the kind of sensibility that Saatvika brings to the table. And not only this, the kind of deep understanding that she has for her work. If any one of you is interested, just DM Saatvika for healing, and that's where she get in touch with her, where she can help you to heal the root cause of issues and stuff in your life. But more importantly, I would want you to also pick up a book called I Can Coach, where she has shared her life story and how she came through with her. And that's a co-brand. She's also co-author in the book I Can Coach Volume 2. And I would really, really want all of you to go and pick that up and get connected. If there is any last words that you want to wind up and say, what would you like to say to the audience?
Sorry, could you just repeat that? There was a little noise.
What would be your last words on the closing thoughts for signing off?
I would say don't wait for your body to kick you from the inside to actually take it seriously.
Right.
Love yourself enough to do the right thing for yourself right from the start. And even if you started late, still start, but start. Don't wait for that sudden alarm bell to ring and then wake up.
With that having said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today for this live session. And signing off, see you some other time. Stay tuned, stay blessed. Thank you. Thank you, Saatvika.
Thank you so much, Harmeet. Lovely to chat with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.